Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Nat. Thank you all so much for joining me. We're gonna do another full face video, and today it's Pat McGrath Labs. A couple of products I've already owned for a while, but the majority of what we're putting on my face today are all new to me, so we're testing it out together. Last year's Black Friday sale, I ended up picking up a bunch of these products at 40% off, and then at some point earlier this year, I'm sure most of you are aware, Pat McGrath Labs filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which basically means that they intend to keep going as a company, as a brand, but they just need some help paying back their lenders or something like that. Again, I'm not always into the drama of things, but I hope that this strategy works out for them, because Pat McGrath herself is an incredible makeup artist. Alright, so let's get started. First up, I picked up the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, and the original shade that I got was Light Medium 13. I unboxed and swatched most of these products in a short at the end of last year, and I discovered that the 13 might be too dark for me. So a little while ago, Pat McGrath's website was having another sale, so I ended up picking up Light Medium 10. Let's watch these again and see which one might work. What a luxe bottle though. It's frosted glass and it's just so pretty. Okay, this one is Light Medium 13. See, it's a bit dark, maybe like a summer shade. Okay, and this one's Light Medium 10. I think I had a difficult time choosing a shade because the undertones seem to be a little bit all over the place. Or no, if I remember correctly, the undertones all seem to be the same. They're all some kind of peach or a version of peach, and it threw me off. But I guess, yeah, let's go with Light Medium 10. I just pumped some on the back of my hand and I'm going to pick it up with an F01 from Singe Beauty. Let's start at the nose. So yeah, I found it interesting that this foundation line, although it has tons of shades, they didn't have like a straight up neutral option, which is what I am. I have a neutral undertone. Okay. I think this is working so far. Gotta be careful again because I've already done my eyebrows. Switching to the F02 from Singe Beauty. Just so we can get in between my eyebrows and around my eyebrows with a little bit more precision. My preference is actually to do my base before I do my eyebrows. But to save time, I usually have my eyebrows done first. And especially because I'm not testing out a Pat McGrath eyebrow product. I very rarely test out a new eyebrow product in general. But yeah, I think this shade is working okay. So some of the things that I've heard about this foundation, it's quite a few people's holy grail, is that it's very thin, and it's true. It's very lightweight. I don't really feel it on my skin. So far, I am quite impressed. And actually this video, as I'm filming today, this is going to be the last video that I'm filming before we go on our trip to Japan. But of course, I'm pretty sure this video isn't going to go up until we get back from our trip. And actually last night, my longtime old high school friend, who we're meeting up with, he messaged me to solidify our plans, and we caught up a little bit. I haven't seen him in quite a long time. Maybe, I think it's been 10 years. I think the last time I saw him was when my cousin got married. He came home with his wife, and I think he had one baby at the time, for my cousin's wedding, because they're also really close, like best friends in elementary school, and then him and I became best friends in high school, and then actually now in my adult life, I'm best friends with his brother. But I know the whole family. I actually used to work at their Japanese restaurant when I was a teenager. Okay, but let's look at this foundation. It really is weightless. I'm just curious though. I think I want to try one more pump just to see what it feels like to build it up on my cheeks where I have like the most discoloration. Like, I feel like this foundation wears like a skin tint, which I love. I actually prefer a skin tint over foundation for like everyday wear. And for how thin it is, the coverage is pretty incredible. Wonder why it took me this long to try out this foundation. Well, probably because I have way too much makeup for one person to use. But with it being on sale, because I think regular price, this foundation is $100 Canadian. But with it being 40% off, why not, right? Okay, so far, so great. I am enjoying this. What do you guys think? Alright, for eyeshadow today, we're going to use my one and only Pat McGrath palette. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. This is what it looks like. Okay, so when I was using this palette, I pretty much stuck to the neutrals, and I always had intentions of trying out the colored shades. But honestly, today, I don't know what I'm feeling. I've been staring at this palette for quite a while now, and I'm not sure what kind of look I'm feeling. Honestly, maybe it's because with the colored shades, I feel like nothing compares to indie brands. And I also feel like I've been doing a bunch of colorful looks lately. So I might stick to the neutrals, adding a pop of green. I'm not sure yet. But you know what? Let's get started. Let's start with this shade. It's called Desert Divinity. I'm just going in with a Rephr 33. Laying down a transition shade in the crease area, brow bone area. You know what it is? I think this palette is missing some lighter shades because when I'm doing colored looks, I like to have contrast with light and dark. Now let's add this green shade. It's called Altered State. Going in with a BK Beauty 205. Pulling it across the lash line and gently blending it up into the crease area. I'm just going to take a clean Rephr 16 to blend out the edges. So do you see what I mean? I feel like the pigment level is a little bit, for my taste, just a little bit lacking, and I've been blending for a while and it looks a tiny bit patchy. Just in general for me, Pat McGrath eyeshadows are a bit more on the pricier side, and it hasn't really blown me away. But that being said, I am aware this is my only Pat McGrath palette, so it could just be this palette. But let's carry on. Now let's deepen things up with Nightfall. And I'm just using a Shoto 00. And we're kind of just following the exact same shape that we just did with the green shade. Because I guess what I'm thinking is just to have some of the green peek through, but not have it be the focus of the look. But again, I have to be careful I don't start looking like I have bruises on my eyes. Yeah, I guess something like this. Kind of smoky, kind of green if you look closely, kind of thing. You know what I just realized? I think this eye look is inspired by the fact that I just finished watching Frankenstein last night. Alright, for shimmer, let's start with Bronze Infatuation. I'm just going to put that at the third of the eye. Now let's add Guilty Opulence. And let's just do the center. At least I think it's Guilty Opulent. It's missing the U. It's just Gilty. Ooh, that's kind of cool, right? Okay. My nails are so long right now. I've just been waiting to get them done right before we go to Japan. Going back in with a little bit more of the bronze something shimmer, just to blend in where they meet. And then for inner third, let's do Golden Angelica. Let's just pop that right in the inner third of the eye. And back to Nightfall with the Shoto 00 to re-intensify the outer corner. Blend in where the shimmer starts. I'm using very little pressure. I'm just going to pull some of this at the edge of the shimmer just to give it a bit of a contrast, like a shadow, because I don't actually have a crease. So if you guys have a crease, you may not need to do this step, but like that. It's a faux crease. Now for concealer, we have the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer in L5. I'm also not sure about this shade of concealer, but let's blend it out and see what it looks like. I'm just going in with an FO2 from Singe Beauty. Blend it out, I think it's okay, right? What do you guys think? Or is it too soon to tell? It's kind of warm. I forget what L5's undertones are. I don't know if this one is a neutral or I just don't remember. But it's kind of like the same thing. The concealer and the foundation had limited options, kind of, just for undertones. Okay, blend it out, it's not bad. The consistency of the concealer itself, it's definitely thicker than the foundation. I kind of don't really have a first impression type opinion on it. Like, it's decent. I would need to wear it for the day to see how it wears, but it blended out pretty easily. It's got pretty good coverage. It's not drying. I just don't know if it's entirely hydrating. I guess a little bit. Okay, so the rest of the products that I have for my face are in powder form, so we can set the face now. First, we're gonna try this Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder, and I got the shade Light. Look at this, is so cute. It has sequins inside. And this is what it looks like. I'm just going in with my Triangle Puff from Amazon. Oh, that's pretty nice. Okay. I'm into that. Alright, so I just quickly set the rest of my face off camera since that Pat McGrath powder was just for the under eyes. And I don't know if she has a loose setting powder, maybe, but I didn't pick that one up. Now onto bronzer. I picked up Bronze Nirvana first, and then when I was reordering a new shade of foundation, I decided to try Bronze Dawn as well. So let's swatch both of them. But first, can I just say this packaging is so cute. Let me just show you what they look like in the pans first. This is Bronze Dawn and this is Bronze Nirvana. Alright, so Bronze Dawn. Bronze Nirvana. I think I grabbed this one after swatching this one the first time. I felt like it might be too orange. So let's start with the Bronze Dawn shade. Just going in with Nikki's N18? N18? Yeah, N18. Actually, I've just switched to an FO3 from Singe Beauty. And when I was deciding between these two shades, honestly, I thought that this one might be a little bit on the light side. But it seems to be buildable. That's quite subtle or soft on me, right? I'm not too worried about this corner because when I take the clips out, my hair is going to cover it anyway. I feel like this shade would be good as a bronzer topper for me, because I usually start with a cream or liquid bronzer. But sometimes it's nice to have a variety of shades if you're feeling something a little bit more subtle, something a little bit more impactful. All right, let's see what it looks like on the nose. And I'm just using my Patrick Ta nose contour brush. All right, now let's try Bronze Nirvana. I'm actually going to start at the cheeks. Oh, okay. It's definitely deeper, but yeah, it has a bit of a reddish orange undertone to it. Do you guys see that? Which I'm not always a fan of. But it blends out nicely. Now for blush, we have this blush palette or face palette, cheek palette, that my friend Christy sent me. This is the Divine Blush and Glow Cheek Palette in Nude Venus. And I want to go in with this shade. It's called Desert Orchid. And I'm just using a BK Beauty 112. And this highlighter is called Sunset Nectar. Let's just boop some on my nose. And now I'm just taking an F07 from Singe Beauty with the highlighter Sunset Nectar. That's pretty, right? Okay, and now we can finish up this eye look. Let's go back in with the shade Nightfall. And I just have it on an E25 from ColourPop, starting at the outer corner. Let's just stamp in and gently pull it across. And now I'm taking an E04 from Singe Beauty with a bit of that green shade. And we're going to place it right at the edge, just so it peeks through a little bit. And now we're taking the Refer 16 with no added product, just to soften out the edge. For eyeliner, we have a new one to try. It is the Permagel Ultra Glide Eye Pencil and in Extreme Black. Let's just tightline. It does glide pretty well. I'm using minimal pressure. I'm quite impressed with this eyeliner. Alright, so my eyes are done. I added a half lash, finished up the eyeliner, and now we can do setting spray. This is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Longwear Blurring Setting Spray. Let's see what the mist is like. Okay, pretty fine. Now for lips, I picked up the Legendary Longwear Lip Liner and in the shade 90s Nouveau. This is what it looks like. It looks like it's going to be a nice nude for me. And then I picked up a Lust Gloss lip gloss, and in the shade Dare to Bear. I love all of Pat McGrath's packaging. This is what it looks like. It's a substantial formula. Like it doesn't feel sticky, but it's not thin. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's super thick or anything. But it feels really comfortable on the lips. That's quite pretty. What do you guys think? Alright, I just cleaned off my hand and the lip liner dried down and stayed on through the wiping. So that's great to know that it is actually long wearing. Alright, so here it is. This is the final look for a full face of Pat McGrath products. I'll come in close. In different lighting. Okay, so now that we're done with the full look, the bronzer has grown on me. I think I like that it's a couple of different shades than what I'm used to have in my collection. I think my favorites are the foundation, and the eyeliner. The eyeliner went on super easily. It's very pigmented, like it's very black. It's called extreme black, and it is extremely black. The blush and highlighter aren't new to me, so I already know how I feel about it. I do enjoy them. The concealer turned out pretty okay. Better now that the full face is done. It was just the color that kind of threw me off when I first applied it, but I think everything came together beautifully. What do you guys think? I actually love this lip liner and lip gloss combo. It feels very comfortable, and even though it's not a plumping lip gloss, I feel like it's given some plump, some life to my lips, which I appreciate. I'm even into this interesting eye look. Like I said, maybe Frankenstein was on my mind since I finished watching it last night. As a full look, I am feeling pretty cute. So I am happy with everything. The under eye powder is super fine and almost undetectable, but it did its job. And it didn't emphasize my fine lines, which I appreciate. But yeah, I'm happy to finally try out all of these Pat McGrath products. But now we've come to the end of this video. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me and explore Pat McGrath. I truly appreciate you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, or if it's nighttime for you, I hope you get a good night's rest. I'll see you guys next time.
Oh, ha ha!